Public Act says we can stay here for 3 years.
Right, yeah.
And you would think that that would just make it easier. And I asked her, I said, look, I've been over 20,000 kilometers. Right? I'm a legit bona fide tourist. And she says, well, I don't know how you're going to prove that. And here's the catch. She says, all of these are dependent on the director's approval. He's the one that personally approves all of them.
Right.
And you need 10 business days. Well, I only had 9.
Before you're...
Right, because of the weekend, where the weekends fell. So I didn't have enough time, and I also didn't have all the documentation.
Hey, it's JJ the Lonely Bull in Asia. How you doing? I'm sitting here having my Jamba Juice back in BGC, and I got a friend with me, Joey Gilbert, and Joey has a channel too. It's just Joe Gilbert, and I'll put it below in the description. But I was doing a video, you might have seen it the other day, about renewing my passport and the complications and the mess I went through to try to get it mailed in. And on the comments, they kind of, some of them misunderstood when I was talking about renewing passport, and they thought I was talking about extending my visa here.
Right.
So some of the comments started talking about visa extensions, and one of the comments said, you got to go to Intramuros to get your visa extended for 6 months. You can't do it anywhere else. And it's like, okay, well, I didn't know that. And then I watched your video the other day about the problems you had. So I wanted to get it right from the horse's mouth, your story on the issues that you had with trying to get that 6 months extension. So, you live here in BGC.
Yeah, right. I live in BGC.
Yeah.
I typically walk across the street to Intramuros.
Right, yeah.
And it's easy, 2 month. But the time prior, I don't know if you remember, if anybody saw it, the lady told me, well, when you go over a year, and then she also charged me 300 pesos for the annual report.
Right.
But the website says everybody with an ACR has to pay an annual report unless you're on a tourist visa.
Really?
Well, I'm on a tourist visa, so I'm like, it's okay. I don't want to be impolite I'm a guest. So I didn't think anything of it. But then she said, well, you're not over a year yet, but you'll need extra documents when you come back next time. And then she didn't explain any more. And then so I asked her, and she says, well, you need bank statements with 2 to 3 months of living income.
Really?
Printed and brought in.
And that's what, if you've been here a year without leaving?
Right. And
so they start asking more questions.
Yeah, right. And that lady has known me.
I see the same people every time I go in there.
And I told her, I said, it's just me, right? And then, she asked why. So I thought I would go do the 6 month one and just be done with it for 6 months.
Right.
So I failed. I wrote a grab over there.
To Intramuros?
Yeah, I wrote a grab over there, walked in.
Yeah.
Great place. I mean, it's an older building, but very professional, very friendly people. They hold your passport up, you get a picture, right?
Really?
Yeah, so before they let you in.
Uh-huh.
And went to the desk, got the application just like we normally do.
Yeah.
And I got to the window, and that's when the lady explained to me that you can't have a 6 month because being a tourist is not good enough reason.
So that floors me because the 6 month extension is for a tourist visa.
Right.
It's not for any other visa.
Right.
So if they're not going to...
Yeah, that's the irony, right? Being a tourist is not good enough.
No, Philippines is the irony.
Yeah, being a tourist is not good enough for a tourist visa.
Right, exactly.
But I guess they're trying to prevent abuse. I don't know, but the statute says, the Public Act says we can stay here for 3 years.
Right. Yeah.
And you would think that would just make it easier. And I asked her, I said, look, I've been over 20,000 kilometers. Right. I'm a legit bona fide tourist. And she says, well, I don't know how you're going to prove that. And here's the catch. She says, all of these are dependent on the director's approval. He's the one that personally approves all of them.
Right.
And you need 10 business days. Well, I only had 9.
Before you're...
Right, because of the weekend, where the weekends fell. So I didn't have enough time, and I also didn't have all the documentation. She said that you have to have an explanation and proof for your explanation, and then all the paperwork goes in a manila folder. You have to have a legal size white folder, not manila, white folder.
Really?
With all your documents in it. Yeah, let me pull this up.
So yeah, while you're doing that, so basically when you come in, if you're unfamiliar with how the Philippines works, on a tourist visa, technically, theoretically, you're able to stay for 36 months without having to leave. So you come in, you get this for most countries. I think there's 57 countries that, most of the Western countries, like the U.S., you come in and it's visa free for 30 days. And then your first extension is 29. Don't ask me why 29.
Yeah, that makes no sense to me.
That's some
either.
random. They must have decided that law on a leap year or something. But anyway, so you get 29 for your first extension, and then when you go back to extend again, you can do 30, 60, and it used to be you can do 6 months. So 1 month, 2 months, or 6 months. And then at that time you have to get an ACR card, which is an Alien Certificate of Registration ID card. And it'll say right there, it'll say tourist right there at the bottom. But in recent months, or maybe over the last year, they phased out the 6 month extension. Because when I first came here 3 years ago, when I was able to do 6 months, I did 6 months.
Yeah,
I thought,
exactly.
this is easy.
Right.
But then my bad, it's like a month and a half later, I flew to Thailand,
man, so
so
you
I just
lost it.
blew it. So I've never done a 6 months after that. I've only
Right.
done 2 or 1. And I've never stayed in the Philippines more than 5 or 6 months. I've always left before that 6 month, because after 6 months here, you have to do, when you leave, you have to do an exit clearance. And that can be kind of, you probably
Yeah,
had to do that
I had to do that
before.
when I went home for a camera last year.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So now you're up to date, but from everything I've read or heard, you can still get a 6 month extension at their it's the main office
Right.
in Intramuros right in Manila. And now we're caught up to Joey's issues and Joey's problems.
Right.
So you went in there and they wouldn't give it to you.
Right, and so I asked the lady, I said, well, being a tourist isn't good enough. And she says, well, it's not only, maybe it's not good enough. She said, how do you prove it? And so what would I do? Would I have to take photos from my Facebook and print and list every town and city that I've been to?
Right.
And then that would just be a ginormous task. So
Right.
she says, no, the really only one that I know of that gets approved is if you're here with a Filipina and you're planning on getting married, then you have evidence of that, which I assume family photos,
Right.
that type of thing. Maybe Facebook screenshots with you on there.
So they're looking at, they'll do the 6 month, but they want somebody that's looking at changing to a permanent.
Right.
Eventually you're going to get married, you're going to go to a 13A visa, or a marriage visa, or whatever the case may be.
Right.
Or a retirement visa. So they say you get 3 years without leaving, but is it really that anymore?
Yeah, they're making it difficult.
It's very difficult now.
Yeah, and I don't know if it's regulation-wise, it's pretty straightforward and easy.
Right.
And last July, when they started asking all these questions, the first few times that I renewed, it was no big deal.
Yeah.
But then, they ask me, are you with somebody? Are you alone? Or, you're here with family? No, I'm a tourist. And I think, actually, I don't understand. But it's their country. I can't, I'm a
Right.
guest, right? And everybody was professional. Everybody was polite. But I've got the piece of paper that
Yeah, let us know what.
and I'll
We'll print that out.
yeah,
We'll put
I'll
that-
message that to you so
Yeah,
you can
yeah.
put it. But you have to complete the form, have your passport, photocopy of the passport bio page, photocopy of the latest arrival stamp, receipt from your last visa extension, which makes sense.
Right.
Then number 6 is the supporting documents for your reason of extension.
Okay, so that's where they're looking for pictures of you and your girlfriend,
Right.
or fiance or whatever. Because if you're just showing, here I am at Chocolate Mountains on my bike, or here I am up in northern
Right.
Luzon on my bike, or here I am in Mindanao, that's probably not good enough. Is that what you're saying?
That's what the girl told me. She says, I don't know if he would approve it. She says, the only one that I know of is if you're planning on getting married and you're here with the Filipina. And then number 7, all these things together have to be in a white long folder.
Right.
So and obviously she said that the director is the one that personally approves it. So they got all of your stuff in a folder, and this guy goes through the folders
with
one
a
at a
1,000
time.
peso bill in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're approved.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding.
That is
Don't deport me.
Yeah, we'll be on the blacklist.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, that's I guess this guy is, he's manually approving each one. So
Wow.
You know, I'd made a comment, somebody got kind of nasty about it, and it may have been that video or the one before, but well, it is this one. You know, the United States has got a huge problem with immigration right now.
Oh, yeah.
And the rest of the world does too. So, you know, the Philippines, it's their country. I fully support them.
Yeah.
You know,
I get
doing whatever they want to do. And you talked about leaving early on the 6-month extension. That was the great thing. The times that I did get a 6-month extension, the agent always asked me, "Are you sure?"
No.
Because you know, if you leave, right?
Yeah.
You start over again.
I didn't get asked. So
yeah.
But I had no plans to go to Thailand at the time because I was working here. So I was working all the time. So the only time I had off was weekends.
Right.
But I had some extra time, and I thought I want to go to Thailand. That would be my first trip to Thailand. This would have been 2022, and I left to Thailand without even thinking that I have a 6-month extension, and I was less than 2 months into it, so I just blew 4 months worth of cost.
Yeah.
But so what is the cost now? Because when I went to get so I mailed my passport in, but I was able, before I mailed it in, I was able to extend for my 29 days. So I'm good until like May 4th. But the charge was, I mean, usually it's like 1,300 pesos, 1,330 pesos for a 30-day extension, and this time it cost me like 2,300.
Was that for 2 months or 1 month?
29 days.
Wow.
Yeah, and it wasn't even express.
My total for two months was 2,200.
Yeah,
something.
So maybe when you first come in and you first do that 29 days, maybe they're doing a little more extensive background check on you.
But they still pay for background check.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know why.
Maybe the first one's more expensive.
Maybe I just got hosed, but but maybe there's a new policy or whatever. So because I was expecting, 1,330 pesos. That's normally what it is without the express.
Right.
And now it was like 2,300, and not even the express. And the express is another 1,000, right?
Now, did you do yours at Samora?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Did they put a stamp in your passport?
No. They just gave me the paperwork.
Right. So last time they put a stamp in my passport.
Really?
Which they've never done before.
Yeah, they've never done that.
Right, and they charged me for it too, 100 pesos. So.
Oh well.
But
100 pesos.
It's all right. But it was. I actually looked. It's 1,000 pesos per month for the visa extension fee. Then they've got the documentation fee, the background check fee.
I wish I brought my papers in. I could have. I may do an addendum to this. I'll show you the paper, show you what the fees were. I'll break it down and just see if it's the same as everybody else's. But
yeah, I'll text you mine. I'll send you.
Okay, so just wanted to drop in and let you know on these documents that I have from before, and when I recently extended my visa here in the Philippines, I want to show you the difference. And I got to looking, I didn't pay attention, and this is my bad, so don't do this. This is another thing not to do what JJ does, because you're going to get in trouble. So my last extension before I left the country back in October would have been August. I extended it August 8th of 2024, and my total cost was 1,330 peso. And I'll put this on the screen here. This is what it covered. Monthly extension application fee was 300 peso. Monthly extension fee, 500 peso. Certificate fee, 500 peso. And legal research fee, 30 peso, for the total of 1,330. I did not get the express, which I believe is 1,000 peso more. So I didn't get that. So 1,330, that's your 30-day extension. That's what it's always cost, as far as I can remember. That's what it's always cost me. So this last time I came in, I flew in to the Philippines on March 5th. So I have 30 days visa free. So that got me until April 4th, right? So I couldn't extend my visa online. It wouldn't work. So I had to go back into the office in Samora. So I was able to get my 29-day extension. That's your first extension, is 29 days. And here's the breakdown of what they charge. And I didn't pay attention to what the breakdown was. I just paid, and I think they gave me the wrong, they gave me the wrong thing, in other words. So here's what they charge me for. Visa sticker fee, 100 peso. So I said before, they don't put stamps in your passport anymore, but it looks like they give you a sticker now. Visa waiver application fee, 1,000 peso. Visa waiver, 500 peso. Documentary stamp tax, 30 peso. Certificate fee, 500 peso, and legal research fee, 30 peso. So that's completely different than what it was when I got my extension back in August. So the only things that were the same were the certificate fee and the legal research, the 500 peso and the 30 peso. I don't have any idea what this sticker, this Visa sticker fee is now. This Visa waiver application fee and this Visa waiver, there's nothing on here that says extension, which is what I applied for. So I don't know if they charged me for the wrong things. I didn't look at my passport to see if there's a sticker in there before I sent it in to be renewed. But this says that my visa is valid until May 3rd. So I suppose I'm good. I just paid more. I paid 2,160 peso instead of the 1,330. So I paid about 800 peso more than I normally would. So if you're familiar with these visa waivers, put it in the comments below. All right, now back to the interview with Joey. So did you get a 2-month there, or did you go back to SMR?
No, I went ahead and got a 2-month while I was there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was an expensive trip. It was only 7 or 8 miles, but it took an hour and grab, right? Because the traffic is so bad.
Oh, right.
So it was close to 2,000 pesos to get there and back.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. That's crazy.
It is.
So hindsight being 2020.
Right.
That's why we do these videos, so you don't make the same mistakes we do.
Don't go for the 6-monther unless you're here with a Filipina and you're building a relationship with the family.
Yeah,
you're going to get married and all of that stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's crazy. All right, anything else you want to add? In more advice that you might want to add to help these people out?
There's nothing I can give that you haven't talked about. I mean, you pretty much cover everything really well. So, just be polite. It's frustrating sometimes.
That's the key. It might be frustrating, but yeah, if you're not polite, then you're not going to get your way anyway. So
right. These people, everybody can't say yes, but everybody can say no. Exactly. I mean, that's one of the fastest ways to be thrown out of the Philippines is to be rude or get angry with an immigration official. They just don't tolerate it.
And the funny thing is, you might go to one immigration official and they'll tell you one thing. You leave and you come back and you see another one the next day and they'll tell you something completely different. Nothing's uniform around here. It's just, it kind of changes with the, who knows, with the with the wind, I guess. But so there you have it. So that 6-month is still available, but boy, they're scrutinizing these 6-month extensions. They're looking at it very closely, and so not everybody's going to get it. So you're probably best off to do a 1 or 2 month at a time. And really, if you're in BGC area, SMR is so easy. It takes 20 minutes total. I mean, the longest part of that whole thing is waiting for the elevator.
Yeah, no kidding. That is it.
That takes the longest. It takes longer than the actual.
Yeah, that's a whole nother video here is the elevator drivers.
So let me ask you this. When you're in SMR, do you take the elevator from the ground floor around? Or do you go up to the 5th floor?
No, I go from the ground floor because I go early when it opens, so the mall's closed at that time. Right. But then if I walk back later, then I go through the mall.
Yeah, I usually I'll go on the 5th floor, and then I'll take the escalator there from the elevators to the 6th floor, and then I take the stairs 2 flights to the 8th floor.
Oh, that's
and I save probably 10 minutes.
Yeah, no kidding.
Because seriously, you'll wait probably 10 minutes before an elevator comes. And there's like 4 of them, but there's so many people using them for different reasons. So
yeah, as a matter of fact, the elevators are so bad. Side note, I was in St. Luke's. We spent over a week in St. Luke's getting tested out with my girlfriend.
Yeah.
And when you walk in, ask for a wheelchair. Because you got to go up and down the elevators in St. Luke's.
Oh.
In a wheelchair, you get priority.
Oh, okay.
So they've got this huge line for up and a huge line for down, and then a third line for handicapped, right?
Right.
And so push her in the elevator. She's, I feel embarrassed. Says, hey, you're here, you're sick.
You're front of the line.
Yeah, I'm pushing you. So,
I was telling Joe before we went on, you don't realize how awkward and how kind of messed up the Philippines is until you leave and then you come back. I mean, I went through so many issues that first week I got back that you never went through when I was in Thailand or Vietnam. It's a different animal here, and if you don't have the patience, then the Philippines probably isn't for you.
Right, 100%.
And sometimes I don't have that patience. Sometimes I got to take a step back and take a breath, and it's like, okay, I'm not in Kansas anymore.
Well, you know, I get that anxiety if I'm late. I get that anxiety, right? When I get, and people are just very relaxed. And what I tell myself doesn't always work.
Yeah.
Well, they're spending so much time with that person at the counter, but when it's my turn, they'll do the same with me.
Right.
That's the only way that I keep myself calm.
Yeah.
Because they really are just being
relaxed and laid back. That's kind of the nature and the culture of the Philippines.
It's very, very
that can be a great thing too.
Right.
But sometimes our Western mindset is got to go here, you know, point A to point B, and do it as quickly as possible. Get things done and get out.
Yeah, you're not making 4 trips and running errands like you do in the U.S. or somewhere
That's why
else,
I hate shopping with women, because they shop like this.
Right.
When men shop, they know exactly what they're getting.
Right.
They go in, they go right to it, buy it, leave,
Exactly.
pay, get out of there.
Exactly.
And women, they'll be all day, and it's like, man, my feet are killing me. It's kind of how it is in the Philippines.
Yeah.
So,
Very, very laid back, but
Yeah.
it's good. It's
well,
great.
check Joey's channel out. It's Joe Gilbert. And how long have you been now in the Philippines?
About 28 months, something like that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Straight?
Yeah.
Or
Well, I went back to, had to go back and buy a camera last year, so I was
Okay,
gone
sorry,
for
okay,
like 4 days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because if you buy something and you ship it here, huge import
Yeah,
fees.
huge.
I
Yeah,
mean-
$4,000 tariff on a camera.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, nuts. Anyway, so check out his channel, Joe Gilbert, and he's got a very informative channel. He talks about his experiences, his life experiences here in the Philippines too. So he's got a great channel.
And if you're checking your phone, it's the unprofessional me that left my thing on. Sorry, you're watching a video and my phone dings and everybody's looking at the phone.
Oh, I don't
Sorry
think
about
they
that,
even picked
JJ.
up on that. I didn't hear it, so you're fine.
All right.
It's good seeing you again.
Good seeing you again, man.
Good
Thank
to be
you.
back. Take care. As always, mabuhay, my friend. Live life, and we'll talk to you again soon. Bye-bye.